Hello and welcome to www.luxurytolast.com. Today we're doing a comparison of two heavy hitters in the luxury watch segment. We're comparing the Rolex Solid Gold or Platinum Day Date President, and we're comparing it to a offering from Patek Philippe. And what we're comparing it to is the stunning, absolutely stunning Calatrava series. Now, as far as the two watches go, they occupy a very important part of both Rolex and Patek Philippe's model lineup. In Rolex case, the Day Date is an 18-carat white gold, yellow gold, or rose gold, or even platinum luxury model for people who want the utmost in Rolex luxury. Often the President is seen as a retirement gift, but it's a watch which is worn by many millionaires and billionaires and also not so wealthy people who love a quality, beautiful timepiece. It's a watch which is instantly recognizable and it just reeks of class and style. The Patek Philippe, however, is a completely different ballgame. It occupies a completely different segment. With Patek itself, the Calatrava series is priced, when it's on a leather strap, very similar to a Rolex Day Date. However, it occupies a different place. In Patek's case, the Calatrava series is the start of the Patek range. The more expensive models go into solid gold bracelet and watch, and they also go into the complications which Patek is renowned for. So, even though both pieces, like a Rolex Day Date and a Patek Calatrava, are similar in price, they actually represent very different models within those two manufacturers. As far as the Patek goes, it's a brand which has been synonymous with being the best watch in the world. Jack Welch, CEO, famous CEO, on the cover of his book, he's wearing clearly a Patek 3919, which is a fantastic Calatrava. And that's the type of watch we're talking about, the Calatrava on a leather strap. The interesting thing is, when you compare a solid gold President, say a yellow gold, which is probably the most popular Rolex President, like models for a solid gold President can be a 1803, 18038, 18238, and 18238. When you compare that, that type of watch there is very much an aspirational type of watch. It's a watch a lot of people have wanted for a long time, and it's the price of that new replacement retails about 25 to 35,000, depending on the whether you get a diamond dial or not. So that's the sort of money. Now, for a Calatrava itself, say a Patek 5127 or a 5296, which is basically it's a yellow gold, white gold, or rose gold Calatrava on a leather strap with a Patek gold buckle, you're looking at around $25,000 to $35,000. Now the question is, which one is the better of the two? And that's a very difficult question to answer. It's like saying, what's better, a BMW X5 or a Mercedes E-Class? And the problem is, for those pieces there, occupy very different segments. And it's really the quality of both pieces is fantastic, and both pieces are really well made pieces with a lot of the Patek. In the Patek's case, a lot of hand finishing, and in the President's case, because it is Rolex's upper luxury model, it also has a lot of hand finishing and hand work that has been put into it compared to, say, a steel Datejust. The Patek itself there is very similar in price. If you got a Calatrava and you got it on a solid gold strap, like a bracelet, you would be looking at around about $50,000. So for this comparison, we're probably best to compare a President with a Day Date Rolex with a President bracelet. Compare it to a Patek on a leather strap. The difference between the two, well, there's huge differences. The Rolex is a true waterproof watch. It's a sports watch. It's in an oyster case. It's got the day and the date, so it's quite a that's a nice complication to have. It's also uses Rolex very reliable movement. They're a great watch. For everyday use, I've had a few presidents myself. The only thing that you've got to be a bit careful of, the gold does stretch a bit. You want to be very careful if you are using the gold. Make sure that you don't. What causes trouble with the gold is when grime gets in between the links and sort of wears it out, particularly sand or that type of dusty type of stuff. So you just want to keep the watch clean. It's a very versatile watch. You could technically wear it every day. The Patek Philippe Calatrava. Now, there's a whole range of Calatravas that fit the bill. So we're looking at Calatrava for this argument here. It's a different style of watch. Although the Calatrava is waterproof to 25 to 30 meters, it's on a very expensive Patek leather strap. That leather strap, if you wanted to replace it, is somewhere between $500 and $700. So you sort of want to prolong the life of that strap for as long as possible. So you're best not to take the Patek anywhere near the pool. And the other reason for that is that the Rolex is 100 meters waterproof, whereas the Patek 25 meters. You want to use a very conservative rule. I wouldn't be taking a Patek into salt water full stop. I really wouldn't be taking a day date into salt water either, but that's just my own preference. The Patek itself, they're two very different watches there. The Patek itself is not a loud, obnoxious watch. It's a very discreet. It's it's for people who know, people who are classy, and people who know quality watches. That's what a Patek is for. 90% of the population, if you showed them your Patek on your wrist, they would just think it was a $300 Seiko or a Timex. And that's part of the art of the Patek Philippe. The Rolex Day Date, you get a lot of bang per buck. People who have no class, for example, tarts, they would certainly recognize your day date and instantly be attracted to you. However, is that what you really want? Is that what you really want? Is that instant recognition from lowlife and people with no class? For me, of course I've done the day date thing. I loved my Rolex solid gold. I had an 18238 with a diamond dial, and I absolutely adored that watch. The recognition, it was a very heavy watch. You felt like $1 million with it on. However, once I'd had about 3 of them, I then start to feel, well, I want something a bit more. The interesting thing is I move in watch collecting circles, and no one really in watch collecting circles was that impressed by my day date president. They sort of said, oh yeah, it's a Rolex president. Yeah, give us a look. Yeah. I wouldn't have bought that. They always criticized the choice. When I bought my Calatrava, in my case, I bought a Patek Philippe Calatrava 5107 in white gold. Everyone said, wow. This is in watch collecting circles. Wow, what a fuck off type of watch. That's just beautiful. It's classy. It's gorgeous. And I must say, actually 2 days ago, I was at a luxury car dealer. This car dealer is an Alfa Romeo dealer, Audi dealer. They also have Bentley and they have Ferrari. And I ran into an old client who had just traded his Ferrari for a new Ferrari. And he was looking at a Bentley, and I said to this particular client's name is Jude, and I've always had a soft spot for Jude. He's very charismatic. He's like a lot of multi-millionaires. He's very charismatic and full of energy and full of life, and people just love to be around him. And I showed him my Patek, and he instantly wanted to buy it off me. Okay, as a multi-millionaire, he was lowballing crazy low prices, but he was interested in it. And that's the thing. I've caught the eye of a man worth over $20 million, and he's interested in my Patek Philippe. That's the type of watch it is. The power of the Patek. And it's just discreet. It's white gold. It's not obnoxious. It's not loud. I mean, I can wear that anywhere, and it just reeks of class. And I said to Jude, I said, I said to him, this is probably my favorite Patek, and he just said, Paul, I want to buy it off you. Let's do a deal. What do you want? What do you want to swap? How much money do you want? And obviously, he very much lowballs things, but that's not the point. The point is he was interested in it, and that's the beautiful thing about the Patek, is that for people who really know watches, for people who are really rich, the Patek is just a class above any Rolex Day Date. I mean, a Rolex Day Date is a beautiful thing. I love the President. I've gone to check out new Mercedes, and I've worn my Day Date, and you go into a shop with your Day Date on, and it's nice. But when someone actually knows what a Patek is, and they see you've got a Patek on, it's just the wow factor. And I mean, the whole point of the Patek, if someone doesn't know what it is, do you really want to impress that type of person? They're an imbecile. They lack class. And this is the whole point. A Patek is not loud or obnoxious. It's a discreet symbol for people in the know. And that's the beautiful thing with a Patek Philippe watch. And which choice would I have if I was a retiring businessman and I'd want a luxury watch? Personally, I think you're best to do the Rolex President. However, if you've already had a few Rolex Presidents and you want to move on to the next level, I'd go 100% for the Patek Philippe. Nothing reeks of class as much as a Patek Philippe. And I've got to say, the thing I really like about the Patek Philippe brand, it's not the handmade movement, it's not the attention to detail, it's actually the values of the company. Patek itself, if you look at some of the value statements that Patek makes, now I know a lot of these value statements are corporate bullshit, but you look at what values Patek says are important to them. And these are values that I hold very dear and very deep to my heart. And I just very recently, my wife had a Rolex President for a long time, and the economy's not what it was before. We've had a global financial crisis, and money's a bit tight. Businesses are struggling. Retail businesses are doing very badly. And I said to my wife, I think it might be an idea, because my wife had a yellow gold ladies President with diamond dial and diamond bezel, and I said, look, darling, I think it might be time to do the discreet thing. And she agreed. She said, look, she thought her Rolex President ladies was very passé. So I said, darling, let's go and have a look at some upper luxury dealers and see what you want. We had a look at Cartier, solid gold Cartiers we looked at, and yes, they were beautiful pieces. No, it didn't quite hit the spot. We then went to a dealer, a Rolex dealer, and we saw some new Rolex Presidents and also the Pearl Master. Almost. The dealer then pulled out a white gold President with a black dial with diamond dial. It was beautiful. It's almost hitting the spot. However, my wife was wearing a steel Datejust with a white gold bezel and Times Roman numeral, and did the white gold President really look that much better? I mean, yes, it felt different because it was gold, it was a lot more heavier, but it didn't quite hit the spot. We then went over to the Patek Philippe counter. The salesman pulled out a Patek Philippe 24, and within seconds, my wife had found the watch that she just completely adores. The Patek Philippe 24 may not be the most expensive Patek. It may not be the most expensive watch we looked at that day, but it's the watch that sang loudest. And that's the whole point with the Patek. You don't have to buy the most expensive model. You don't have to buy a crazy diamond-encrusted model. You buy the model that speaks to you, and that's a completely different ballgame to buying a Rolex. And this is where true class reigns supreme. So in my opinion, if you've done the Rolex President thing, do the Patek thing. There is nothing better than having a Patek and just loving it. Thanks very much for watching my video, and don't forget to come to my website www.luxurytolast.com. Thank you.